Hey everybody, it's Mitch and welcome to my next video. Today we have got another Dungeons & Dragons class description. And again, from the Expanded Psionics Handbook, today we have the Wilder. Now, the Wilder is an interesting class. So we're going to talk about a few things. We're going to talk about what they are as characters, how you would go about role-playing a Wilder. Then once we get done with that, we're going to go in and we're going to talk about the stats, the statistics, all that fun stuff so you can actually make a build with them. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. If that sounds good to you, definitely stick around. And we're doing this with like every single class, so subscribe to the channel if you're interested. Anyways, let's get into this. So, the Wilder. Now, what are they? They are very much driven by emotion. So, unlike the Scion, who gains their psionic abilities through, hard work and discipline, they do it through their power of emotions. It's their emotions that bring out their power. Like they feel strong emotions, and that manifests in the form of psychic power. So that's kind of cool. Now, the motivations for Wilders to go on adventures is interesting. They are all about showing off. They like the gear, they like the treasure. It's all well and good. They're definitely not going to turn it down, but their main reason is just to show off what they can do and how good they are. So yeah, they're show-offs. So they like to show off how powerful they are. Let's see. They're very passionate people. Very, very, very passionate people. So that's something very true about them. Let's see. Interestingly, they don't have any preference for alignment. You'd think it'd be chaotic based on, the fact that, they draw their powers from emotions. But no, actually, it's no preference. Religion, they generally don't worship deities. They don't believe in that. Background, so Wilders, this one's kind of tragic. So Wilders, generally how they develop comes from being abandoned. So they often get abandoned and live on their own for a while, and that messes them up. And that's a big part of how they end up how they are. And it makes them really want to, when they do reconnect with society, really want to talk with people and really want to show off what they can do. So, yeah, kind of a tragic little detail there. In terms of races, they're definitely really likely to be the Maniac. Very, very much likely to be a Maniac. Humans are a close second. The other races, less so. So, yeah, a lot of them just can't handle it. Half Giant's a decent one that, just is likely to take it up. Weirdly, the dwarves are likely to accidentally stumble into it. Not the, I'm a dwarf, I'm proud of who I am dwarf, but the, hey, I'm really not happy with this dwarven society I'm living in. I want to do something about it. Those dwarves often will stumble into being Wilders, weirdly enough. Because that one doesn't seem like a good one at all, and it's got bad synergy. But anyways, in terms of other classes, they like other classes. They get along with people as long as they get to show off. They're good. And they like to they can either be frontline combatants or they can be in the back showing off their powers. Either way works. So while there are, they're highly emotional, they've had a bit of a rough backstory, they're going to be highly likely to please, or not so much to please, to highly likely to just want to show off. They really want your approval. If you're going to be playing a Wilder, you're going to want to try and show off just what you can do all the time. That's going to be a major thing that you're going to be doing a lot. Now let's get into our stats and statistics. So let's get into that. So these ones are very interesting. So first off, let's talk about They have a D6 hit dice, so not bad. That's pretty good. Now they have an average base attack bonus, which is weird. This is a full manifesting class with an average base attack bonus. That's really unusual to be able to have 9th level powers, but an average BAB. That's crazy. I mean, I guess there's only 2 full manifestors, but still, like, that's really unusual because these guys are basically a sorcerer equivalent in psionics, and sorcerers don't get a full BAB. They do only get a D6 hit dice, which is actually kind of good. It's, better than the D4 that like wizards and sorcerers get. So yeah, they get a bad fort and reflex, but a good will save. Typical for a caster manifestor type person. And they're of course going to get powers. So the number of powers that they get is really, really, really limited. They're going to get 1 at first level, and then they're going to get 1 new power known every time they get a new level of power known, which is going to be not until 4th level, and then after that every other level. So they get 1 at 1st, 4th, 6th, 8th, all the way up to 20th, which is effectively going to make it so they have 2 first level powers, 1 second, 1 third, 1 fourth, 1 fifth, 1 sixth, 1 seventh, 1 eighth, and 2 ninth at 20th level. That's crazy. The fact that they only get 1 power known. One per level. So you're going to have to be really, really selective of which powers you want because you get 1 per level. Now, the fact that you can, mix and match, makes that less bad, like, with augmenting and all that fun stuff. So it's not as important because you can use a 3rd level power like a 9th level power once you're high enough level. That can be done through augmentation. It costs the same as a 9th, but at the same time, like, it gets rid of some of the stress, but you're still going to be limited on power points. You're not going to have the same resource cost as a sorcerer would. Sorcerers are very, very big on spells. They have more spell slots than most classes. These guys, not so much. They're roughly the same as a Scion. So, yeah. They are charisma based, which is kind of good, just like the sorcerer. Let's see. That's really it for their powers directly. Now they get weapon and armor proficiency, just simple weapons, and also light armor and shields. So okay in combat. Let's see. And then they are also going to get Wild Surge. Now, Wild Surge is kind of their main class feature, other than the whole manifesting thing, which I guess is probably the real main feature. But Wild Surge is the really unique one. So what it does is it lets you boost your manifestation, your manifestor level for free, and you can kind of do this as much as you want. There's really no limit to how often you can do this. However, it's risky. If you so there's for every level you boost it by, and you're capped off by level. It starts off at just 1 level, and then by 20th level we go up to 6. But anyways, what this will do is for every level you extend it by, there's a 5% chance that bad things are going to happen afterwards. So, and I think it actually even messes up your power casting too. So, not great. But basically, you end up stunned, and you end up having to pay the extra cost, which normally you don't have to. So that's kind of nice. Basically, they can boost their powers, but it risks causing them to. Well, I guess it's not stunned. I think it's dazed, but close to the same. So dazed isn't quite as bad as stunned, but it's close. Now they also have surging Euphoria, which that's going to make it so that when they do this, at least once they get to higher level, they're going to get a +1 to attack and damage for a number of rounds equal to how much they boosted it by, and that'll actually increase to a +3 by 20th level. At 20th level it'll go to +3. So that's an extra interesting little bonus. Now this doesn't count when they get the psychic innervation, which will, hurt them. That's when it backfires. That's what the backfire is called, the psychic innervation. Yeah. So one thing that they get that's really, really good, and I don't know of any other class that gets this, is a lewd touch. They get to add their charisma bonus to their touch AC up to their full AC. So I think you can't have a higher touch AC than a normal AC, but they can make it so that their touch AC is equal to their full AC, even though it shouldn't be, because they just have a high charisma. So that's really, really big. Now against monsters, you're not going to be seeing a ton of touch attacks, but if you're going up against other adventurers, especially ones that have really been built well, yeah, they're going to be making tons of touch attacks. So that's huge. They also have Volatile Mind, which is kind of good in the right circumstance. Basically, if someone tries to use telepathy on you, can't speak. If they try and use telepathy on you, they will have to spend 1 extra power point, which doesn't sound terrible, but it can add up. And on top of that, if that happens to push them past their limit, then it just fails. So it can be really draining to a telepath to have to do that, especially seeing as at higher levels that can actually go up to like a +4. So yeah, to have to spend 4 extra power points per it can wear on them, especially seeing as they tend not to have the most resources compared to casting classes. So yeah, there's that. So the Wilder, it's an all right class. It's okay on the front lines with its D6 hit dice, which is bad but not horrible. It has the decent base attack bonus, which is okay. Decent weapon and armor proficiency, so they make halfway decent fighters, like not good fighters by any means. Like they nowhere near compete with an actual fighter or a true melee combatant, but they've got some decent stuff. They're probably close to on par with like a bard on as a melee fighter. Like they're okay. Now they also have their psychic powers. They're actually really similar to a bard in a lot of ways, especially they get charisma casting, same hit dice and base attack bonus. On top of that, they are also have some manifesting. Now these guys are full manifestors. They are going to get 9th level powers, like the bard, which of course only gets 6th level spells. But they're very, very, very limited in their powers known. Although they don't have to prepare them, which because that's just not something that's done with manifestors. Although if they did, like, they have 1 per level, so they wouldn't be anything to prepare. You just prepare that same one over and over again. I mean, not a lot of thinking involved with that one, but that's not the case. Like, they don't actually prepare, which is one of the nice things that Psionics gets to be flexible. So yeah, that's basically the Wilder. They're an all right class. Are they the best in the game? No, but they're certainly not the worst. They're okay. But anyways, let me know what you think about the Wilder down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Maybe ring that bell to get those notifications, because YouTube's kind of bad about that. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch, and I'll be seeing you